mentally, physically, spiritually, where I'm at today is not the same guy who was in the UFC in 2014. And I think at the end of the day, what carried me a lot for 9 years, nearly 9 years, was just the fact that I love to do it. You know, when the UFC came calling again and this opportunity presented itself, yeah, I was just grateful for it. I actually kind of didn't think I'd ever have a shot in the UFC again. You know, just looking back at all these experiences and all this time, and you know, just proud that I never gave up. The discipline that I've learned throughout the course of the last 15, 16 years far exceeds any motivation, but I definitely have motivation. I'm a dad now, so I live in that dad life, and you know, being a good father is the most important thing to me. Being a good husband is the most important thing in my life. For me, yeah, it isn't very hard to get up early in the morning, or to get that extra workout in, or push that extra set in the gym. I want to be able to provide for them a good life, a better life than I had. I fight for them and the opportunities that this sport can provide me. Yeah, of course, obviously you have aspirations to be a champion, but at the end of the day, if I could retire and put my hat on the hook and say, hey, if nothing else, this helped me put my family in a situation where they got to grow up in a great community and raise my family and kind of ride off into the sunset that way, be a happy man. You know, winning this fight and knocking out Brad Katona is the first step for me in my mind. So for me, that is life-changing.
Before I got called for my second shot on The Ultimate Fighter, it was absolutely a journey. I had won The Ultimate Fighter 27, season of the undefeated in 2018. The contract, the security of being in the UFC came with that. I then fought on UFC 231 in Toronto against Matthew Lopez. Nearly got the finish. But then you go from that to fighting Merab, who's now the #1 bantamweight in the world. I'd lose a 3-round decision to him, and then fighting in UFC Vancouver against Hunter Azure, you could arguably say I won it. I believe I won it, but the judges gave it to Hunter that night, and then that was my UFC career cut short. Getting the release from the UFC was rough. It was very rough. It certainly changed who I am as a person, as a fighter, and I've shown that growth in my fights, and I'm excited to show it on the UFC stage again. What I like most about doing The Ultimate Fighter a second time is, first off, I get the chance of making history. I have the shot of being the first fighter to ever win The Ultimate Fighter twice, but two, I finally have control back in my career. I finally have my shot at the UFC. I'm finally where I feel like I belong, with the #1 organization in the world, fighting the best fighters in the world. I feel like I'm a different level of fighter. This is my time, and I have the opportunity to show that.
So I get to fight a guy I don't particularly like. It's extra special for me because I get to punch Brad Katona in the face. I know I can beat Brad Katona. I know I can knock out Brad Katona. I know I can win this show, and I know I can do it in an exciting fashion.
It's up to Cody how he loses. I'm going to keep presenting problems to Cody until he doesn't have an answer. I'm very good under pressure, so pile it on and succeed.